That's not yours. All right. So we have been talking about lines of fit. We took a little side trip into interpreting the slope and the y-intercept, but we're going to go back to talking about lines of fit. When you make a line of fit and you draw it on your paper, the chances of you having the same equation as somebody else is pretty slim. Okay? So the question that we need to talk about today is how do we get a line of fit that is the best one, basically? Who's to say that my line is better than your line, or your line is better than the person sitting next to you? We need to talk about the very best line of fit. So that's really what we're talking about. The very best line of fit. Okay, so how do we find the very, very best line of fit? And the answer to that is your calculator will find it for you, which is why we need our calculator. So the very best line of fit your calculator finds it, and it's called linear regression, which is a weird word. Okay, that's called the linear regression. So when you see, first of all, regression is just like a formula that your calculator, it's like a program your calculator runs in the background. So you don't have to worry about it. It's just the name for it. You're just telling your calculator, which is a mini computer, to run this program. And your calculator will find the very best line of fit. I will tell you once we get one that's up here, I will tell you how your calculator does it. I'm not going to give you all the gory details, but I can give you some of the details that will maybe make sense. Okay, so it's called linear regression, and we are going to be talking about how do you get your calculator to do that. Right? It's excellent. Your calculator will spit out the whole thing for you, the whole equation. You don't have to do any slope, y-intercept, or anything. Calculator will do it for you. So you do not need to write this down. Just give me a second. I need you, though, to make sure that you are paying attention, because I don't want to have to say this a lot. Or so let me give you this situation. You guys, when you buy a car and you drive it off the lot, it immediately loses value. So this should make sense, though. Like an 8-year-old car is worth less than a 2-year-old car, right? Because the older your car is, in general, the older the car is, the less it's worth. So 19, 18, 19. Okay, so take a look at my table. You do not have to write that down. One more time, you do not have to write it down. How much is a 3-year-old car worth? 19 what? $1,000, not $19, right? It's 19,000. We're working in thousands because that's why it says thousands on the top. Okay, so we're talking about the age of a car and the value of a car. So here is what I would like you to do. I'm going to give you the steps so that you can write it down. I'm going to show you how to do the steps at the same time. Okay, so the first step to doing this, oh shoot, I lost my pen. The first step to doing this is to enter the data into the list. So we have to put data into the list. So first step, put your numbers into the lists. Okay, so write that down, and then I'll give you the keys to press to do that. Now, goofy, your calculator is goofy. There's something on your calculator that says list. But that's not actually what we're using. So that's kind of goofy. So you're going to push this button right here that says stat. Okay. So do that first. So you should end up here. It should look like that. Okay. So push the stat button and it should look like that. Okay. Please take a peek at your neighbor. Make sure they're there. Okay. If they're not there, please tell them. Push the stat button. Okay. Give me thumbs up if you are on that screen. Bryson, you got it? Okay. All right. So what you want to do is number one, you're editing. Okay, and it should bring you into a page with lists. So do you see that the top says L1? That just means list 1, list 2, list 3, list 4. You can put them in whatever places you want. I like to just use the first two. So you put your numbers into list. Put your X things into list 1. Okay, so you literally just type in 1 and hit enter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So hit your number, hit enter. Okay, you can put list 2. Go ahead and fill list 2 with your Y values. That is 24. Yes, the first one. 21. Okay. Yep. Now use the arrow key to get to the next door list. Yeah. Yep. It's up there. We'll put a number in.
Yeah, you press 1.
Or enter. Enter works too. Yep. $24, 21, 19, 18, 15, 12, 8, 7. Now, I want to tell you this. This is really important. You have to hit enter after the last number. So if you, let's see, you just are here, your calculator won't recognize that 7. You have to hit enter. Okay, so you should end up with dotted lines underneath both of those because that's the end of your list. Okay, so X's go into list 1, Y's go into list 2. Okay, everybody all set? Okay, I got a couple of people still writing, so I'll give you a second. Okay, you ready? Okay, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make the scatter plot. You don't have to always do it because we're going to I'll show you how to get the equation. So this is a step, you can skip this. So I'm just going to put this as optional step. Okay, so it's optional to make the scatter plot. I like to see what I'm doing though. I like to see what it looks like. Okay, so the way that you do that is you go second, which is the blue button, second and y equals. Do you see that it says stat plot up there? Second y equals. You're going to get into something that's going to look like gibberish. Don't do anything yet. Okay, so second y equals. Your calculator has the ability to make a lot of different kinds of graphs. Okay, so right now we've got the option of making 3 at a time. We don't want to make 3 at a time. That will be a mess, is what it will be. So you're going to hit number 1. And what that does is it takes you into the setup for a plot. So we're going to do number 1. And then you want to turn that guy on, because that's the way it should be, because if you want to graph him. And then just make sure all the things are correct. These are your different kinds of plots that you have. That first one is the scatter plot. So I'm going to say this just a second. Set up the plot. You're going to have to use your brain, okay? This is why I told you put your X's in list 1 and your Y's in list 2, because it's going to come up as list 1 and list 2. If you feel the need to change, you don't want little boxes, you want squares, or you want little dots, or you want pluses, you can change that. It doesn't matter. You can change the color if you want. Okay, but it has to be turned on. Otherwise, this won't work. Okay, it has to be on. And then you're going to do zoom, which is the top middle. And then you're going to do number 9. Do you see that it says zoom stat down there? What this does is your calculator uses those numbers in there to create the X and Y axis labels on your scatter plot. So zoom number 9. There's your graph. Okay, did you break it? I can fix it. It's fine. Oh, you just picked a different graph. So go back, second y equals. Okay. You guys might have, that's a great question, I'm grab this. Because everybody else uses these, so this is the way it is. Just a second. So, like when Raylan graphed hers, she has wavy lines. Listen, please, because this is what we're doing in a different class. So, to get rid of that, you go to y equals. So if you have wavy lines or any other lines, you go to y equals, and you just hit clear. And it will go away. See, now it's back. It's gone. But, Raylan, you got to turn this guy on. Now we can do zoom. Huh. Sometimes you get an error. If that happens, just call one of us over. Okay, so if you have an error, like it told me where to look, do you see that Raylan has an extra number? That's okay. Just go over there and delete it. And now it should work just fine. Okay, go to stat. Yep. Now go to stat. Hit. Enter. Oh, you got a 9 on there too. Way up. Okay, let's do it. I don't know. Anybody else? So it was just like so this is another way to get into those bonds. So go back. So when we set it up, it's 7 white. If we just go here, that's what you first have. Anybody else? Yeah, well, you would better be able to. That's what I'm saying. It should be removed. Well, you should also Keith. This side. Okay, so Kim, why? That should be enough. Now you should be able to. I'll call you again. You can always just hit the number if you don't want to hear it. There you go. Okay, so everybody get that? Yeah. So, you guys, that is optional. That's optional to make that. I like to see what we're doing. Okay, now. What I want you to do, don't write this part down. Yeah, you're fine. You can write it down. Okay. So next step, we put our numbers into our list. We made a scatter plot, which, like I said, is optional. What we need to do now is we need to tell our calculator to do the linear regression. So the way that we do that is, so I'm going to we're going to get the equation. So the way that we do that is we go to stat again. Okay, so it takes you back here. We've been there before. We went into edit last time, but we're not going to do edit this time. We're going to go over one to calc. Okay, so we should be here to go over one to calc. Now, there is a lot of blah, blah, blah in this. Okay, so you have to be sure that you are going to push the right buttons. Okay, number 4 says lin reg. That is linear regression. Okay, if you look at number 8, that also says lin reg. You can use that one. Okay, look at number 9. That does not say lin reg. Okay, that's missing an I, and that's on purpose. That's not an accident. That is not the same thing. Okay, do you see that both of those have ax plus b or a plus bx? It's slope-intercept form. Okay, you want to make sure you're picking a slope-intercept form. I'm just going to pick number 4 because then I don't get into trouble. Okay, and it takes you to this. Okay, so what you're telling your calculator is, where do you find the x's? List 1, because that's where I told you. Also, because I was trying to make it easy for you, because I knew it would come up like this. Y's are in list 2. And then all you do is go down to calculate and you hit enter.
My calculator is weird.
That happens. Oh, let's clear all that crap. She'll be happy that I did that. Stat. Let's go over to calc. And then it's number 4. Now, cut down to calculate and hit enter. Okay, so what you have here, if you look at this, you have a formula for a linear equation. It's just y equals ax plus b. It tells you what a is, and it tells you what b is. So you can write the equation. Okay, so our equation is y equals a is negative 2.5 x, and it's okay to round these, plus 26.6. Okay, so do you see where I got that from the numbers on my screen? I'll just use them to write the equation. Now, here's a second optional thing. This is what I like to see. I want to know if that actually matches or is there a mistake in there. So I want to put that into my calculator. So this is the optional, it matches the other optional. I want to graph that line on my scatter plot. Okay, so the way that you do that is you go to y equals, so not second y equals, regular y equals. Okay, you should be here. It gives you a list of things. I don't want that. If you don't want it, you just hit clear. And you type in your equation. Okay, if you wait a second, I'll tell you a shortcut to get the x. Okay, so the equation is negative 2.5x. Just a second. There we go. So negatives down the bottom, negative 2.5. You guys know how to do negative 2.5. But this button next to the green one has an XT, a funny circle, and an N. I just hit the X. It's an X for us. It will only ever be an X for us unless you're monkeying around on your calculator and doing weird things. Okay? It's just an X shortcut. And then plus 26.6. And then hit graph, which is the top left. Okay? That is a good line of fit. Yeah, X is the button next to the green one. It's right there. That funny thing when I put the X. Question? Oh. You don't have to do it, it's optional. Now, I want to tell you real quick, you don't have to know this, but I want to tell you, like it's not something I'm gonna give you a quiz on. What your calculator does is it's doing computery things. That's really technical. It's doing computery things, but what it's doing is it's trying to get that line the closest to every dot possible. So it's analyzing all of the possibilities and it's calculating which ones of these, which line could it draw that gets you closest to all the dots. Okay? Like, it's just well, there's a lot of math behind that, but like this is a little bit far from the line. This is pretty close to the line. This is really close to the line. That little line there is something called a residual. You don't need to know that. But your calculator is in the background calculating, if you add up all of those residuals, which one will be the smallest. So you want as close to all those lines, you want the line as close to all the dots as possible. So this is the very best line of fit. And the deal is, because your calculator's doing it, everybody has the same line. Okay? If you did not get the same numbers we did on here, it's because you entered a number wrong. Because your calculator will do it the same way every time. Okay, so that is the process of linear regression. So what I would like you to do, we're going to try this again. This time I'm going to have you follow your notes. And I want you to do, let me give you an example here. Okay, so this is temperature, which is X in degrees Fahrenheit. And you do not have to write this down on your paper. Just let it be on mine. And this is how many people are attending in thousands. So it's an outdoor concert. What do you think as the temperature goes up? So let's say we're starting. Oh, I don't really have it. As the temperature goes up, the number of people will start to go up. And as the temperature gets too warm, it will start to go down a little bit. Okay, because people are going to be like, nope, it's too hot to go outside. Okay, so I should tell you this too before we go. So go back to stat. That's your first step. And number one, listen really carefully, okay? Really carefully. Nope, just delete the old ones. Okay, so you just hit the top one and just start hitting delete, and it should just suck those right up there. Okay? You delete, that's how you get rid of the old ones. Okay, so I'll give you these guys 78, 68, 87, 75, 71, 92, 84. Okay, so what I want from you is I would like you to, even though I said it's optional, I would like you to make a scatter plot, get the equation, and put the equation on your scatter plot. Okay, and if you have problems, technical difficulties, we'll call them technical difficulties. If you have technical difficulties, this is your time to ask them. Okay, there you go. Okay, now get the equation. Put the equation on there. Wow, you don't write anything else down, Charlie. That was foolish. Yeah. Oh, oops, hang on. Oh, see it.
I just never going to
This one I'll give 2 decimal places. So one is a 3 right there. But you look at the number next to the 3 on the right. If that's larger, if it's 5 or larger, then you move the 3 up 1. 3.14. Okay. And so guys, on this one I would probably do 2 decimal places if it was me. Or number 9, exactly. Number 9. Just number 9. Now, get my equation. Did you do this? No, don't copy that down. Do that. Okay, write your equation down. Okay, because you gotta be able to write it down. Yeah. Okay, so you accidentally deleted this one. So let's do this. We gotta get it. So don't delete up there, delete there. That's what I want. Okay. I will retake those. This one was well, that's because this is more of a weak positive. The last one was a strong positive. One's a weaker positive. So that's okay. This line does not look like it fits as nicely. I think that's right. And then now do.
What's different than?
Let's see.
Do you want them to go to get the equation in the line?
Yes, and put it on the graph.
Guess that's what they did.
No, it's just the difference in roundings.
Zero.
Did you put it in there?
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I was aware. What were I saying?
Ooh, I got it.
That should say L1.
This person fours in her. I don't even know.
Okay.
I put one.
So you hit.
I didn't see that.
All right, you want to put the equation in the graph? What are you on? Oh, okay, I know it's from the. Do you want, that's a pig nose. Do you want? So this, I was right, that's what. So you're not wrong, but I would go to because it's so funky there that I'm gonna be back to 0.14 and 0.69.
Do you remember how to do this? Okay, put those numbers in. Those numbers in.
Yeah.
So you press that and you get the. Write that down so that you can.
Oh, you had to type in the Y.
Go back one. Okay.
So when you write this down, you just have to do it right now, away from this. So, okay. Or that means right now, so that we can.
So, and then let's write down my words.
For Logan.
Remember. Yes, so.
That's a match right there.
And type.
It's not.
It's not. So,
I would never put plus -6.
No.
Yeah, well, it's
Oh, it's not.
Such a nice guy.
So it's like not the A and X.
Or she's.
AX, right? It's your A, I would round it to 0.14.
Yeah, you round it, and add 0.14 and 0.685.
Yeah, I'm on a chair right now.
Yeah. Okay, folks. How are you doing, Owen?
Him?
I'll just sit there.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'll
Did you write down this?
Zoom number 9. Okay. Oh, now you're gonna get the equations. Calculate.
Get a best bill.
So good, he only scored 4. I two. Person I was pretending never scored, and I was in
First, second.
And then
Right, Tyler.
No, it's this one.
no, like, just put it in there so you can put it on your.
Tyler's
Okay,
There's still all down.
folks.
the best. Fine.
I'm a basketball
Great, right, please. Thanks.
player.
So your equation, second. Okay. Folks, you gotta listen, please, to the things that I say, because this makes a huge difference. We get A equals 0.1368 and a bunch of other numbers, and B equals -6.845827 and some more numbers. I did say to you that you're gonna need to keep 2 decimals on this one. If you don't, like I had somebody round to 0.1 and -7, that's correct rounding, but their line is way down on the bottom of their graph. Like the dots are up here and the line's down here. Okay, when I say to you round to whatever, you gotta listen to me, please, because it makes a huge difference. This should round to 0.14. Remember when we round, we look at this guy, and he's larger than 5 or larger, so we round up. And this would be -6.85. That would be the correct rounding that you should have. But if you do that, if you're rounded to that, then you can see that you do end up in, your line ends up in there. I had, this one is really small, like the slope is really small, and so there's just, even if you put 0.13 and 0.84, that's not correct rounding, and it's a big difference on your graph. Like, they end up way different. So make sure you listen when I tell you what ones to do. So I'm gonna have you reset this because I would like it off for 7th hour. So what I want you to do is go to, you don't have to do this every time, so you don't write it down. Second y equals, so you're here at stat plots, hit enter, and I just want you to turn that one off. Okay, and then you can quit. So second quit. It's next door. Go back to your main screen. Okay, once that is done, you may put your calculator back. You may get your phone, but please go back to your seat and sit in it until I dismiss you, please.
Will you make one for me too?
Yes.
I just have the old.
I have the old one too. I was like, oh, make good copies. And then I was like,
Yeah, that's why I went and got my folder. I was like, oh, I have these, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, these are old.
I totally have them. And I looked at them and I was like, yes, I will for sure make
Thank
copies.
you.